Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Ready to Love. Y'all, so before we get started, I got some black-owned businesses that I need to shout out that I have already done the black-owned business spotlight on. First of all, Unicurl, UNIQURL. No, I am not getting sponsored by anyone. I just really believe in this product and it works well for me. I have not applied this product in I don't know, almost a week. And I finally messed my hair because I was sleeping wild. And this morning, early this morning, or late last night when I woke up before work, I applied a little bit of water, almost non-existent, and then I twisted it around again. And you can't tell me that don't look like I just had this freshly done. It's everything. So definitely head on over to their Instagram, which is UNIQURL, the @ before that, or unicurl.com. And also head on over to Nature's Beauty Bar with an I and not a Y. This is it right here. You can definitely find them on Instagram. And the product that I am talking about in this moment is the unscented whipped shea butter. That includes only shea butter, jojoba oil, and vitamin E. And I think I can smell a little bit of the jojoba oil because I just can smell like a lot of stuff. I have actually used this a lot, and y'all don't understand. Like, I got this when they had the sale. When I did my little black-owned business spotlight on them, I told y'all I ordered 2. So the only negative thing that I can ever say so far about this company is that I ordered 2 of this and I only received 1. But I'm only mad, quote unquote, because it ended up being amazing and I was buying it on a whim and they had a sale, and that particular day they did not have a limit. Like lately, whenever they've had certain things, see, I'm ashy right now. They had a limit, like a limit of 1 or a limit of 2 or whatever. That particular day, they didn't have a limit. And I was just like, oh, well, I'm just going to buy 2 just in case. And I mean, I got the notification like right when they put it out there. I was like, oh, well, let me see. Let me try it out. So almost every time that they had put a notification out there, I went running to the website. And I know I have purchased from them like 5-6 times. So yeah, this stuff smells good. It feels good. And like, even though it says it's unscented, I can still smell the shea butter. I can still smell the jojoba oil or whatever, but it's not anything that's going to mesh with what I wear because I was about to tell y'all what I'm wearing. People live for the fragrances that I'm wearing. I ain't gonna tell y'all what that is right now. But anyway, this is not something that would mesh or like overpower what you have on. So you don't have to worry about that. It feels good. It smells good. It actually works. So yeah, like look, actually looking a little moisturized. Nah, looking a little sun-kissed and whatnot. But anyway, definitely head on over to naturesbeautybar.com. I and not a Y at the end of beauty. But yeah, they have sales all the time, and when I first went to them, it was not a sale. I just wanted what they had in particular, and at the time, it was at its highest price, and I didn't care because I really wanted it, and it works well. But anyway, y'all, let's get into the recap review. All right, y'all, so we're at the beginning of the first part of the reunion special, and they started out with Chris and Amber. And they wanted to know, like, are they still going? Like, are they not together anymore? Like, what's going on? And so, of course, we had to start at the beginning because y'all know he was brought back. He was on a season prior to this one, and he didn't make it because he ended up getting booted, and he put all his eggs in that one basket with, I think her name was Naya. And she didn't like an answer that he said at one point in time, and her relative didn't either, and it was just a wrap, like, oh no. It was like, oh no. And even though he's really nice and all that other good stuff, she wasn't trying to hear it. So, his redemption story, all that stuff unfolded, and he was like, look, we still going strong, we still dating, it's lovely. And he said that, you know, he knew that he wanted to be with her and to pursue her like the second day at this brunch that they ended up having on the show. So, you know, it was just like, it seemed like they're still good. So hopefully it is what it is. A lot of people do not believe that they are an item. A lot of people feel like they are faking the funk. I don't know about all that. But I think that they are a very beautiful couple. I'm here for it. And every time he talks about her, he get the glowing and she get the glowing, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So anyway, y'all, I'm here for it. I hope that it's amazing. I hope that it's real. And it seems cool. So then they went to Kyra. This was the Kyra moment, when they had to rehash how at one point in time, everybody was talking about if they had to go home right now, who would they go home with? And everybody said Kyra. Child, they was being petty. The cameraman was being petty. And he sat up there and panned the camera in on every single couple. They panned the camera over at Joel. You know, Joel was sitting next to Vernisha. They panned the camera over there to Jason. And so he's sitting next to Liz. And panned the camera over to everybody. I'm like, y'all being so petty. I could die. Oh my gosh. And so, you know, Tommy is like, you know, why do you think that, you know, you were the one that everybody was living for? Basically, that's what he was asking. And, you know, asked her how did she feel about it. And she said that she kind of felt uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. I would feel very uncomfortable myself because, oh yeah, and he said, Nephew Tommy said we almost had to change the show from Ready to Love to Ready to Love Kyra or something like that. I was like, I know that's right, because the most was popping off for no reason. I don't understand what they was living for her for, but okay. So yeah, now she is trying to explain why, you know, why people pursued her the way that they did. And, you know, it eventually got to a point where she was expressing how she felt because she was feeling one person, who was Jason, and it did not pan out. And so he went from being comfortable with his arm around Liz. As soon as I saw him take his arm from around her earlier, when they first started to present that she was going to be the one who that was going to be talking in that moment, I was like, okay, I don't know if he going to say something or if he just going to be looking a certain type of way and they going to keep zooming in on it. Child. And then, like, of course, they wanted to be petty a little bit more, and they brought up how Alexis was saying certain things about how, you know, she seems calculated, and, you know, you could tell that she's an attorney, and she plays Monopoly and chess and all this other stuff. And so they wanted everything to be addressed that was said. And so she was like, I said what I said, and that's what it seemed like. It is what it is. First, second, and third of all, y'all, before I forget, who put this wig on Kyra's head? Because I cannot. It was already bad enough by itself. It just looked like she slapped it on there. I mean, I'm just like, girl, it's bad enough you slapped it on there and it looked a mess. Then where you got it at, where the part is at, you got it where you got it pulled behind your ear, and it's just like, it's obvious that it's a wig. Like, girl, why? I can't. I really can't. Like, it's stupid. I'm glad that Nephew Tommy said what he said, because while Alexis was sitting over there explaining how she felt about the situation, which I think is stupid, because why are you not understanding that this is a competition? At the end of the day, this is still a competition. Y'all ain't got to be friends. Y'all don't have to form a sisterhood. Yes, the men ended up bonding and having their bro moments and all that other stuff and whatever. That's great that they have formed a brotherhood, but you ain't got to be friends with these people. You don't have to be. Let's be friends after the fact, possibly. Let that be something that's in the air. But I like the fact that he basically was like, you know, this is a process that y'all going through, but at the same time, you're supposed to be here to, you know, be ready to love. And then he had to make it clear that a lot of the stuff and the miscommunication and all the little things that kept getting back to people wouldn't have been known had somebody who was sitting there on the stage had not been going back and forth telling people. And everybody already knows that that's Ron. Ron is always the one who is in the middle. He is always the one saying something. So they ended up taking a break. Kyra was like, all right, I gotta go. So she went off to the back. And so she went off. Apparently, something we didn't know about, at least I ain't never hear her say this while the show was actually airing. She said, ooh, child, y'all almost ripped my ear. I ain't never been here for that. I seen so many people back home that fight and all that stuff and they had earrings or had earrings and their ear is completely ripped. Oh no, I ain't got time for that. So anyway, she was like, Ron tried to talk to me before the show, and my thing is this: don't be trying to be over here and try to play me to the side because I wouldn't give you no play because you knew me before the show. So everybody looking like, wait, what? So yeah, she's mad, and everybody is seeing that there's a pattern that he is the one who is always in the middle of mess. And it's like, bruh, I really wish you would go somewhere and sit down. And she was just like, I ain't got nothing for you. Keep acting shady. You just acting shady because I wouldn't give you no play. And you could tell, that he could hear her going off because he's still on the set. Like, ain't nobody here for him. Like, I don't, and y'all, anybody who has seen my recap reviews of this show for this season, y'all know the entire time I have said I don't understand what any of these people have ever seen in him. He ain't got it. He ain't got all his marbles. He is not it. I don't understand what y'all was living for. Maybe y'all was living for the bank account because I think all he might actually have to offer is some money. That might be all that he can actually bring to the table because everything else is just no. Y'all, the only thing that I actually got spoiled on was the next thing that happened, which was that Tressa ended up sending in a video stating that she was not at the reunion because she tested positive for COVID. She had a positive test and that she had to, of course, stay at home and be quarantined for 7 to 14 days or whatever. So it is what it is. She said that, she is still single and she is still ready to love, and it is what it is. Child, I'm gonna be very brief on this because I can't. So now they're going over the first two men who got eliminated. The mailman and Khalil. I think the mailman's name is Christian. Basically, the mailman, he was super duper awkward, and then he would just sit there and just look at you, and you have to coach him into what you have to have him to say to you. I'm just like, it's just too much work to try to help him to do what he should already know how to do or should have already been taught to do as it pertains to love, relationships, and dating. And then Khalil, it seems like it has been so many mixed reviews on how he is, how people view him as a person. I ain't never really been here for him like that. He seemed off. He seemed a little crazy, skittish, or whatever. Like, I just be like, what was y'all? And then they made a point to show that scene when Amber was trying to get to know him early on in the process, and she basically asked him, what is a trait about yourself that you know that you should work on when it pertains to you, being out here dating and all this other stuff that you need to change about yourself. He kept saying mean girls, and she was like, that's not what I'm asking. I can't. So anyway, child, tell me why Christian, the mailman, is like kind of dating Andrea. Y'all know I never could remember if it was Andrea or Andrea when the show was going on. She wasn't on there that long either. But I was like, what? So she was like, yeah, we talk or whatever, but we ain't dating and nothing like that. And so everybody had to encourage him in that moment to, be like, well, what are you waiting for? You should ask her out. So he was like, well, yeah, so, later on, I want to ask you something. I want to talk to you. Like, even in that moment, I was just like, I understand that there is somebody for everybody. But that would have gave me a headache. Dealing with somebody like him would probably give me a headache because I have to coach you on every single thing I need for you to say or what you should say in order for a moment to go off without a hitch. I ain't got time. It's just too much. And he 30 something. I'm like, it ain't like you 19 or 15 and 14 or something. And it ain't like you Kevin or somebody like that from the Chi. I will understand that. But you 30 something, if I'm not mistaken. What is we doing? So anyway, she accepted the, half of a question of, whether or not she's willing to go out on a date with him. I was like, ooh, child. Then Khalil, he is apparently dating Ida. Tell me if I did not say in one of these episodes that both of them crazy, and them the two people who it was either her and him or her and Ronald or somebody, that I said they both crazy, and if anybody was to get together on here, they probably would be the ones who would need to get together because they both crazy. So tell me why he done spilled all the tea, and so she get mad like, I don't understand. Why did you even say that? You said we weren't going to talk about that. So he was under the impression that she understood that they would say that they are an item or are dating at least once the reunion was being shot. And so she was like, no, we didn't discuss that because when I asked you about it, you said, no, we can't discuss it. And he was like, obviously to wait until the reunion. I'm like, ooh, y'all both crazy. Don't nobody have time. And like he's still doing what he normally do and saying ignorant stuff. Saying things that are digging him deeper and deeper into holes. I don't be understand. Again, I understand there is somebody for everybody, I guess. Like, I got to the point now with this cast, I'm like, well, I guess there's somebody for everybody. I don't know, because who these people are so crazy. Like for real, might need to have a psyche valve, might need to have on a straight jacket. I don't know. Because Ida is very, very crazy. We saw that. She is very, very crazy. She's beautiful, but she is crazy. Khalil is not a bad looking man, but something ain't right. Something's missing. Anyway, y'all, I can't do it. So now they're going over Ronald. Gotta clear my throat on it. That made my throat dry. Ugh. I can't. I done told y'all I don't understand why y'all saved him from elimination when he was basically like in the bottom two, like off rip. I don't understand what y'all saw in him. So anyway, they doing the playback, and it's hilarious. That's why I'm even bringing it up, because it's so hilarious. They doing the playback of what we saw throughout the season. All these various women living for him. So, oh, he looked good here, but he definitely looked good right here on this date. I'm like, Lord. Then Alexis was over here pushing up on him, living for him, and now she's shaking her head because it finally started to click that this is a fool. And now she looking like, no. Because she really sat up there. So I understand you. I can see that you're a king and all this other. Girl, bye. As soon as she said it, I was saying, girl, bye. I'll be understanding. I understand people wanting to love and love to love and all of that. But no. To me, he has shown exactly who he is this entire time. It's not like he played that role and did like, it was like, surprise, I'm a dummy, I'm a fool. I am just somebody who is incapable of not being trash. I'm incapable of not being trash, y'all. No, like Ronald has been trash from day one. I don't understand what y'all was looking at, but go off though. But anyway, and y'all, of course they went over him lying, talking about, oh, well, we had all these dates set up. He really was sitting up here lying, talking about, oh, we went on all these dates. And Amber was like, no, you lied. We ain't go out on no dates. They went on like one random date. And it's like you still are talking about the one date that happened, but you want to put something on it, trying to make it seem like all this stuff that popped off when it didn't. It's like, oh, you really that desperate to look like you done did something when you didn't? Like, bruh, that is sad and pathetic, to say the least. And pretty much, like I said, the only thing that he has to bring to the table might be just some money. Ain't no personality from what I can see. Ain't no sense. Ain't no nothing really. I don't understand. Ain't no understanding. He don't listen. You can literally be pouring your heart out to him and he'll just be like, I'm fixated on this, that, and the other. You can just look at him and tell. I don't know if he's empty up there in his brain. I don't know. He gives off something that it seems like something is missing. I don't understand what it is. He giving off something is missing. Don't understand what y'all was living for him for. And again, everybody put two and two together, and he was always the one who was in the middle of mess, and it just was what it was. If y'all didn't know or figure out before this moment that Ronald is crazy, he legit said backstage that he and Alexis were together and that she was cheating on him. How was anybody cheating on y'all when nobody was in a relationship? Somebody please explain. Now, unless y'all was in a relationship and only the two of y'all knew about this agreement, what? No, it's not in no relationship. This fool said that Alexis was cheating on him with AJ. And I'm just like, what is you talking about? Didn't I tell y'all he was missing something? Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Unfortunately, they went over frickin' Frack, who is Stacy and Chrysanthemum, and it's just stupid. It was just stupid from the get-go. I was just like, it just seemed like they was like, ooh, we both light-skinned and everybody think we fine. So, ooh, let's, that's what we, how we get together. That's what we have a commonality as far as anything is concerned on this show. Okay, then we can be friends. That's what it just came off to me as. I was just like, this is a competition. Like, what is we talking about? And it got to the point where you kept letting y'all's friendship get in the way of finding love. And that's why once they really started hanging tight like that, I was like, oh, apparently y'all are not actually being serious. Y'all are not here for love. Just like almost nobody on here this season. Almost nobody was on here looking for love or ready for love. Let me put it like that. And they both eventually got eliminated. Ronald was one of the people who was sitting up talking about, oh, this person is in my top and this person is in my top. And it just got to the point where he would be on a date with one of them, and then the other one would be like, well, am I in your top or not? Because you told this person that. I was just like, aren't you on a date with this person? Like, I can't. Like, they were so annoying. They both said that they dating somebody, and I think Chrysanthemum said she's dating multiple people, and Stacey said she's dating somebody. I don't know if I believe her, because... And y'all remember she's the one who has like the 3 like older kids and whatever, and they like desperately want her to be out here dating and all of that. But I don't know. She give off. Sometimes she has given off to me that like she gonna be super clingy and gonna be like, "Where you at? Oh my gosh, I don't have my eyes on you right now, but where are you?" Like, oh no, like I don't know why. Because I feel like it's because she really desperately wants love so much that that's what she gives off to me. I could be completely wrong, but that's just what it is. And that's why Alexis looks the way that she looks to me. Y'all, they eventually get into the threesome, which is Alexis, Kyra, and AJ, which I don't understand. Yet again, I don't understand why everybody lived for him. There was nothing to live for. I guess it was because of the way that he speaks. There are some people that have that mouthpiece and they can be toe down in the face. They could be whatever. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's his situation. I'm just saying he legit like has a way with words. And they, of course, showed different, footage of the season where we saw where he was a wordsmith or whatever you want to say. He was good with words. He was speaking well when it came to certain things. He spoke in a way that, captivated Alexis mainly. And I was just like, girl, you fall for anything. I don't understand. I just don't understand. And then apparently Alexis' birthday came around, right? Him and Kyra, even though Kyra said, I choose myself at the end of this season, she said she chooses herself and that she wasn't going to be with him even though he chose her. They were dating. And so she had already told him in advance that she had already had a trip set up where she was going to go out of the country for 2 weeks. They were in constant communication, but Alexis reached out to him around her birthday and was like, I guess I know for a lot of people, when their birthday comes around, they seek clarity. And so she really wanted to know, were you serious? Were there really any feelings there? Like, did you really feel anything? Was any of this real? And he said, yes, everything that we experienced was real. So then he extended an invitation to take her out for her birthday for a romantic dinner or whatever. If you're not dating her seriously, then why would you extend that? Like, I don't know. She said that she did not even know that they were dating. And so he said, yes, you did. He basically said that she did know. And Tommy was like, well, because of what you're seeing, because they ended up playing something back. And she was like, well, if he did, it's probably, escaping my memory in this moment. But yeah, y'all, it's just the most was going on. It was just the fact that apparently it wasn't clear But then he said, well, you know, since she didn't choose me, we weren't an item. I consider that to be just regular dating, which means I can date however many people I want to date. But my thing is this, you already know. You already know the history. Why are you trying to act like you don't know the history? You already know how it was when dealing with Alexis. You already know when dealing with Kyra. Kyra is very jealous whether she wants to admit it or not. Just like Alexis is. Both of them are at times one and the same. And they bump heads because they basically give off the same type of energy. They both want something in particular, but at the same time, they don't know what they want, but they want everybody to want them. If that makes any sense. And it's like, please go somewhere and sit down. Please go somewhere and sit down. I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired, y'all. But anyway, she was just like, we were together, like we were an item, and I was, you know, keeping in constant communication with him. So I don't understand how this was going on. And Alexa said she definitely didn't know. So then Tommy asked him, between the two ladies, if you had to go home with one right now, who would you pick? He said he would definitely not pick Alexis. Do you know I hollered? I was like, oh God. So then he basically eventually said that, you know, he still would choose Kyra. And I'm just like, she's still telling you that she don't know what she want. And you just said something to her that she was unaware of, which was that you took somebody else who she actually knows and has had like little like back and forth with and competition with out on a romantic date. Like, what is we talking? Like, I can't do it. And so like she tried to play it off like she wasn't hurt by that response. That would have been a dagger to anybody. Like, ooh, wait a minute, you did the most. You didn't have to say it like that. The way he said it though, I was like, wow. Wow, you ain't have to say it like that, sir. You did not have to say it like that. So yeah, we at the end of the episode, y'all. Tommy wanted to know, would Kyra consider being with AJ after everything that she has heard right now? Then he proceeded to say, we are out of time and I'm tired. I was like, no, like, see what I'm saying? Don't I tell y'all all the time I'm tired or I'm tired in my spirit? The most be popping off on this show and then it don't be. Like the absolute least be going on here. And I just be like, I'm so tired. I was like, So next week is gonna be interesting. We did not see anything from Joelle and Vernisha like that. And it's gonna be interesting. And to me, like I told y'all before, I feel like because of the things that I have not seen or the lack of what I've seen on Vernisha's page on Instagram, I really do think that her and Joelle are not an item. They might be friends a little bit, but I don't think they're an item. And like I told y'all before, like even when they would kiss, I just would be like, I don't want it. I wouldn't want that. People been reading, y'all, I be dying. People been reading. They said it's the accent. That's all it is. He ain't nothing but a wannabe player. They need to go ahead and call Rich Dollars because he want to be a part of that squad. He too old to be playing games like that. I was like, oh my gosh. Now y'all know I think Joelle fine, but if it is what it is, it just is what it is. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. I done bothered y'all enough for today, and I done got my entire life. I might come back later on with one more thing, and then I'll leave y'all alone until maybe tomorrow for the shot. Anyway, y'all have a good one, and I will see y'all later on. Bye.